Hi guys, and welcome to Journey Through to the Centre of the Earth. This is Activity 8 for Year 8, where we're going to be looking at how we age rocks. Okay, so the sort of things that you're likely to get in a test is a picture like you've got here, and one of the things that you're asked to determine is what the age of the rock is. Maybe putting the rocks in order from oldest to youngest or youngest to oldest. Now the key to it is basically understanding that the lower down you go with your rocks, the older they're going to be. Because what you've got to think of is that other layers were then put on top of it as time progressed. Now in this situation what we've got a lot of horizontal rocks that have formed, and then we've got a vertical rock that's actually split right through the middle of them. Now that vertical split basically would have happened once those layers had formed. So what that means is that band of basalt that you can see there is actually the youngest part of all of the rocks together. So what's happened is basically there's been a split in all of the layers, and lava has then moved up through and then cooled down. It's been close to the surface, hence that's why we get the extrusive basalt that's been formed. Now what then happened was there was erosion of the surrounding layers, and that's why the band of basalt is exposed at the top of the rock face. So in the question, we're asked to order these from oldest to youngest. So the oldest layer is going to be the layer that's going to be right at the bottom. So we're going to have limestone. That's then going to be followed by shale, conglomerate, sandstone, coal, and then finally we'll get the band of basalt. So this is the way that you would write it. So with the oldest going to the youngest, as you can see on the left hand side, going from limestone through to shale, conglomerate, sandstone, coal, and basalt. And remembering that the basalt layer was actually a split, lava went through, cooled, and then the result is that it got exposed over a period of time with erosion. So you could be asked anything on a picture like this, but to work out the age, the rule is always, if it's at the bottom, more often than not, it's going to be the oldest. Another way of thinking of this is when you look at a picture like this, think of the layers being layers of pictures put on top of each other. So you've got the horizontal layers first, and then behind that you've then got your band of basalt layer that was put over the top. So you can work out your layers on the first screen, and then if you put your band of basalt in front of it, obviously that's got to come after the first layer. So it gives you an idea as to how you can age rocks. So that's one way that we can look at it. Another way is you might be given a situation like you've got here, where you're given columns of strata of rock. Now this is done a lot by geologists, especially if they're drilling and they're looking for certain types of rock. What they'll do is they'll get a deep drill, they'll drill down, and then they'll take what they call core samples, and they will analyze the core samples. Now what you tend to get, and especially in questions where you get an assessment, you may have areas like a lake or a big area of land, and core samples are taken at individual spots. And what you get is layers. And what you're asked to do is to work out the overall age of the rocks. So in this case, all I've done is use colors, but you could use a variety of different things or examples that are used. Sometimes you might find that they're rock types. Sometimes you might find fossils have been included in the areas. Now the fossils are a good indicator of time, and what you do is you match the fossils up together. In this case, what we're going to do is match up the colors, but remember that we can match up, they could be rock types, they could be fossils, they could be a variety of different things. So to age them, this is one way which I think might be useful to help you through these sorts of questions. So the first one is to match up similar layers. So if you can look at strata A, you see it's got an orange layer followed by a green layer. And if you look at strata B, the top layer is orange, then green. Now you'll notice that the thicknesses of that orange layer is different to the one in strata A. Don't worry about that, because those layers can be different thicknesses because of erosion that might have occurred at the time. The important thing is that there are layers of similar type below and above. Now the above layer on strata B has been eroded away, so we haven't got that. However, we've got two layers on top of strata B on top of the orange, and if you look at strata C, it goes green, blue and purple. Now no other column has got purple, but you'll notice that strata A's got green, strata B's got green, strata C's got green, strata B's got blue, strata C's got blue, so we can match them all together. So let's place them end on, and this is the sort of thing that we would get. So you can see in diagram 1 here, we've matched up the orange layer of strata A and strata B, and then we've sort of matched up our green layers as best we can through A, B and C. So now what we've got is a complete line, with the bottom layer being the oldest layer and the top layer being the youngest layer. So the order for our rocks in this case is going to be purple first is the oldest, followed by blue, followed by green, followed by orange, followed by the browny colour, and then that, I'd call it pinky I suppose, it being the youngest. That top layer in strata A is being the youngest. So you might be asked then, let's say it's fossils and we've worked out our fossil layers, you might say, well, what's the second oldest fossil? So you could just work from the left across. So this is how the application can occur inside these sorts of questions. So the key to this is logically put them together. You're not going to be given anything which is overly complicated, but put them logically together and then work from the bottom upwards, with the bottom being the oldest, the top layer being the youngest. Now if you go onto the iBooks exercises that I've generated in this course, you'll find that there's plenty of examples of this for you to work through. So think about it logically. Lower down, going to be old. Higher up, it's going to be young. Okay, thank you for watching, and join me again.